All right, friends, we are in for a treat today. I say we because I think I'm also in for a treat. I have a friend here, Miss Angela, and we're going to do things a little different. She came up with this idea that I thought was kind of brilliant to interview me or ask me questions or have a conversation with me about the book In Pursuit and maybe about the writing. I don't know. I'm not in charge here. Angela's going to ask me whatever she asks me, and it's going to be delightful. So this is going to be just a conversation. Like we got my coffee. I've got Queen Bee. Shout out to
Water,
my
you got
dear friend Jen for the coffee mug. So
it, Jen.
grab your grab your beverage of choice. This is gonna be like a little girlfriend chat. So I'm gonna turn it over. I'm turning over the reins. Angie's gonna take the mic and take us to wherever we go from here.
Yeah, okay. So I thought a focus for today is really just to chat all about Jessica's number one new release
Look at
book,
the
In
tabs. If you guys
Pursuit.
are watching
I
this
know,
on
right?
YouTube,
Like I
we've
destroyed a
taken notes,
highlighter.
friends.
A
We've taken
highlighter.
notes.
This bad boy is like dog-eared, flagged. There's things written in the margins. Like you name it. This
I
book
love
has
it.
been through the ringer.
I have to say, one of my clients reached out who has, I mean, he has worked with me one on one
Mhm.
for a while. And he was
Yeah.
like, uh, first of all, like things are making sense to me in ways they hadn't before. And he's like, also, the phrase he used, he's like, it's dense but digestible. And I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
realize it's interesting, right? And I see like people taking notes or being like, I'm still on chapter three. And I'm like, oh gosh. Like, so it's very interesting to
Yeah.
be on my end of it, be like, oh, here's what I'm putting out and thinking I'm just like tossing some things out, just lobbing some questions
No,
or
we're dropping bombs.
people,
Right? I think
it turns out.
like turns out turns
We,
out this is life-changing stuff. Who
yep.
knew? Who
Who
knew? I
knew?
mean, you knew. You knew, and that's why you wrote it.
Fingers
Yeah, but I
crossed.
think as I was going through the book, I
Yeah.
I moved at a little faster pace because I knew we wanted to do this interview.
Yeah.
But this book is not just a book, it's a manual. Like it's a
Hmm.
workbook,
Hmm.
right? There's
Yeah.
you offer everyone like an invitation to like show up and do the work, which is why mine looks like this with the flaggies and the dog ears and the writing everywhere.
Yeah.
I think like if somebody really went through this and took all of the questions and did all of the work, like
Yeah.
your life would look different in a month.
Yes. 1,000%.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm also pretty sure that you wrote this just for me because it
Well,
felt like a
that
love
part.
letter to me personally. I mean,
That's
the
what's so
way
fun. Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
I love the way that you really normalize the challenges that we face when we're doing something new, right? When
Yeah.
we're like stepping up to the plate, when we're in pursuit. And
Hmm.
that just felt like a warm hug, right? Like
Yeah.
we're confronting ourselves, overcoming those limits, and you're along for the ride, like
Yes.
holding the space for us to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Right. And I also like I'm a life coach too. I've done all this work for like several years now.
Uh-huh.
And there were still things that I got in a new way
Yeah.
that I hadn't digested before, right? Like your other client
Yeah.
said, like I hadn't
Well, listen,
digested.
there were times when I was reading, so I wrote the book,
Uh-huh.
turns out, and
Yeah,
then when I was reading it for the audio book, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is a
that
real
was
story.
good.
I know. I was like, what? No, more. I was like, oh, I needed to hear that. And interestingly, when I
Uh-huh.
was, this is how life is. When I was recording chapter six, which, if y'all are not, that's the stay with your emotions chapter. And I was reading, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is up for me right now. I was like, oh, I need to go.
Mhm.
This, my brain literally said this. Oh, I think I need to go back and reread that. And then, friends, when I was if anyone has done an audiobook recording, I had to do this AC, all this techie check stuff. And it was
Mhm.
basically like, there's a massive issue here. You have to re-record the whole chapter. And I was
What
like,
a gift.
right,
There we
well,
go.
I was like, I just told myself I need to reread it. But to say all of that is like, yeah, you can be a life coach, you can be doing this work, and we're always like evolving. And so we're in different places. So you hear it and you're like, oh, now here's the next level, or here's how it applies here. Yeah, we all need it always
Yeah,
and
it
forever.
lands at a different time,
Lands,
right?
yes, yes.
The wisdom drops in.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
1,000%. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so let's lean in there. I think so much of the book was talking about rewriting those stories and like
Yep.
in inviting us all to take a look at our inner narratives.
Yeah.
So for you, what stories did you have to rewrite in order to like show up and write the book? Like what resistance showed up for you when you were writing it? What did it teach you about yourself? How did
Oh
it change
God.
you? Dive
I
in
I know, right? Like, how much time do we have? Is this the only
as much
question
as you
we're
want. This
gonna?
is your podcast, ma'am.
I could do all the things that I want. Okay, yeah. So what were the narratives? Oof. I mean, so Well, okay, listen, I'll just start with like even the idea of writing a book was not my own, I would say, right? Like
Hmm.
here's the funny, like, I will get to answer your question, but like when
No,
when people be
please.
like, why did you write this book? And honestly, I'm like, the book wrote me, the book chose me is kind of right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this ties into the narrative. So honestly, jokingly talking to you, I was like, when I really just help people who are in pursuit of something, a bigger bank account, deeper connections, the next big, hairy, audacious goal. And I think I text you and I was like, watch out, New York Times bestselling author. I'm going to write this book. I know,
Hmm.
right? Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And then flash forward, it's the day before I'm going to run the full marathon in Louisville, Kentucky. And I had this meeting with this group they were like a marketing firm, but part of their pitch to me was they're like, and we'll help you publish a book. I was like, well, we can just end this meeting right here, friends. Like nobody over here wants to write a book. Like, what do you mean? And they're like, to like help you lean into being like an authority in your space. And I was like, okay, but that's not me, right? So again, what narratives do I have to rewrite?
Hmm.
That's not me.
Yeah, that's not me.
And then, and we do things like the next day, I'm like, let me just go run 26.2 miles. Not only
Hmm.
do that, but do it without stopping or walking, which was my goal. And I
Love
did
it.
it. And I was
Yeah.
like, what else am I
What
wrong
else?
about? What else can I do? I
Uh-huh.
guess I'm gonna write a book, right? So
I love that.
all that
I
to say,
love that.
it's like this is why we do wild things like this, like run a marathon or honestly even write a book, because then you're like,
Mhm.
what else can I do? But so
Yeah.
in the process, like what are some limiting beliefs? Things like I'm not a writer, right? A phrase that my brain likes to offer up is like, who am I? Who am I to do this
Hmm.
thing?
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
But as life coaches, we know that's a really great question to answer.
Yeah.
Right. So my brain wanted to disqualify me. And I was like, okay, who am I to write this book? Well, I am someone who has recovering perfectionist, aspiring good enoughist, someone who has had a lot of deficiency stories and has done work to, like, listen, I still, if I don't pay attention, perfectionism wants to come in. But I'm somebody who has struggled with things and figured out some ways to not struggle with them so much, right? I'm somebody who it has a degree in therapy and also certification in coaching. I'm somebody who is good at seeing patterns in other people and I can help navigate out. So, like,
Mhm.
I'm also somebody who wants to make coaching skills available to as many people in the because listen, if you are listening to this and you have never had a life coach and you've never done coaching, secrets to the universe, right? Like these are the things, these are the tools
Mhm.
that help us understand our human operating system, help us
Mhm.
show up in the world in a way that's more intentional, help us feel better, help us create a life that actually looks like something that we want and is not happening at us.
Right.
And also, as a social worker, I want things to be accessible to everyone, right? Like to work with me one-on-one is not free and
Mhm.
it's not in everyone's budget. So
Yeah.
the book is like for $20, you can get all the coaching magic, right? Like you can, it's a do-it-yourself sort of thing. But my brain is like, yeah, but I'm somebody who wants these coaching skills to be in the hands of as many people as possible. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a lot of those, like a lot of it. We have a lot of stories that will want to talk us out of something. And now I'm
Mhm.
just onto my brain a lot more, where I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, okay, cool. And I've done a lot of pretty epic stuff when I'm just like, okay, uh,
Yeah.
maybe those thoughts are wrong. Or like maybe even if I have some stories like I'm not good enough, I didn't come from the right place. Other people can say this better than me. Other people have already said this. Like, okay, maybe those could be true. And I
Mhm.
could still do something really important and valuable and useful to people.
Yeah.
Both could be true. Yeah.
I am so glad that you answered that question. Who am
Right.
I
Yeah.
to? Because
Yeah.
now we have this book in our hands because you answered that question, right?
Well, and now listen, that's like my favorite thing. Like, think about,
Mhm.
okay, I'm like, listen,
Go
you
for
like,
it.
you wanted to talk today? I don't know. I'm just going
It's
to do all,
perfect.
this is the fun part of being I get to do all the talking, I guess. But
Perfect.
that's one of the most delightful things for me is like when I
Mhm.
get value from another human
Yeah.
and I am like, thank God they didn't stop at their first doubt or their first failure because then they
Mhm.
never would have done this thing that I get so much value out of. And I think it's such a, and it's even more delightful when it's like gritty or they had to overcome something or like like here's an example. Like when we were at Angela and I went to the same school for certification for life coaching, and we were at a mastermind, which I think is where we met. I think this is the one we
Hmm.
met at, and
Yes.
became quick friends. I'll tell the George Strait story later, I guess. But we at that, I remember there was the CEO of this giant, this multi eight-figure business is standing up there talking about her evolution from being an attorney to now running this business. And I was like, oh man, like what a wild trip. Like you'd had the guts and the courage to leave this thing and go into this unknown thing. But then also what I know is the coach that she worked with that helped her get her there was another like Yale, Harvard trained attorney who left like academia and whatever to go being a life coach, right? And I'm like, thank God. Like again, like just think of the stringing of it. Like, thank God those people did scary, hard things so that the thousands of people sitting in that room were getting value. I just think that's the biggest coup. I like geek out on that. So go do
Yeah.
the wild thing. If it's on your heart right now, if there's something that you're like, it keeps coming up, it keeps showing up in my journal, I keep talking about it to my friends. Don't sleep on that. Like somebody unknown somewhere in your future is going to be like, thank God you did that thing. Thank God you didn't hit snooze on that dream again because someone is waiting for you.
Yeah. How beautiful. And I think
Yeah.
too, like, what would the world look like if we all had the courage to do that? Right? If everyone,
One way
right?
to find out. That's
Yeah,
why
you
you don't
could
want to
just,
tell me. Like I'm a zealous advocate for a goal. You know it. I'm like, oh,
I do.
you better stop. I already heard you. I'm not gonna let you. Like we will not settle on like if you have something inside there that wants to come out. I'm like, yeah,
Pulling it
just
out.
pull it
We're gonna
out.
make
Yeah,
it happen.
we're gonna make it
Yeah.
happen. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So you broke the book down into three parts,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that pulling part really comes from that
yeah,
first section,
yeah.
the prison,
Hmm.
right? The
Uh-huh.
prison, the path, and the pursuit. So
Hmm.
as you were writing it, is there, or maybe like even throughout your backstory before
Yeah.
this moment, right?
Uh-huh.
Was there a moment or series of moments when you realized that you were living in that prison, right? And how do we
Yeah,
identify
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
we're living in the prison and we're
Hmm.
not on the path, right? How do we make
Yeah.
that little shift?
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, the moment that comes to mind, and I actually put this in the book, is I mean, there were multiple moments of this, but the phrase I found myself saying to my girlfriends was, I feel like I'm living in black and white. Like it's like I feel like I'm living a half-lived life.
Mhm.
And I think moments like that, you could be like, these are attention-getting moments, right? And that's it calls you to awareness, right? Like if you have these moments, and here was another thing, like my life felt like I remember being like, this cannot be the point, right? Where it felt like a rat race, like the thing where I'm like, it feels like Groundhog's Day. Everything's the same. Like I get up early. And back, I was getting up at 4:30. Like you get up at 4:30. I know. Ugh. Like get up at 4:30. Go do the workout. Go commute. Ugh. I mean, listen, to y'all who are out there still driving to work, I commute across the hallway. I cannot be bothered. Thank God. What a blessings, blessings. But drive and commute in snow in Iowa, Lord. And then you go work all day. And then you come home and then you have to do all of the things to just get ready for the next day. And it just felt like I was like, oh gosh, this does not feel, this is not it. Right. So as an adult, those were the moments where like it felt like the prison, right? Like this doesn't, it feels like a half-lived life. And I feel like it was probably in that moment when I can like picture myself in my dining room in Iowa saying this out loud. Um, and I think part of it was so disillusioning. Is that a word? I was disillusioned
Yes.
because so much of my life before that it was very myopic, and it was just like I've got one goal, like get out, get out. That was just constantly in my head, just get
Mhm.
out, get out. And I meant get out of the home of origin, and like blessings to the people who are in the home of origin with me. Like this is not to be to judgment towards them, but I just wanted to get out of the town, get the degrees, get out of that the generational cycles of the families that I've seen. I just wanted to get out, and I just really believe like if I can make that happen, then life can start. Then I can finally have the thing that was always missing. And then I did that, and I was like, why do I something's missing like that? Yeah, so like that to me, I mean, in your prison, every the listener's prison like might feel different, but those to me are like some attention getters when you're like, this feels like Groundhog's Day. This feels like the rat race. This feels like this doesn't feel like I thought it was going to feel this, right?
Mhm.
Like unfulfilled and um unalive. Is that not unalive as in die, but like just closed off and
Black and
shrinking.
white.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and what a beautiful segue, because the next
Yeah.
thing I wanted to ask you was this like sense of arrival fallacy, right? Like
Uh,
your brain was like, I just gotta get out, I gotta get out, I
yeah.
gotta get out, right? And that was the
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah.
And then we arrived, like quote
Yeah.
unquote, like at the goal
Yeah.
and didn't look the way you thought it would. Right.
Yeah.
So can you break down a little bit of like what is arrival fallacy
Yeah.
and like arrival addiction? And what
Yeah.
are the dangers of those? Or like what should we watch out for?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I'm just your walking poster child for that.
I
So
mean, join
basically
the
like I
club.
just gave, I mean, like again, like I get that arrival fallacy is this idea that like the destination's gonna feel different, right? Like the if I just hit the goal, if I just get out of the house, if I just get good grades, if I just get the degree, get the job, get the promotion, it's like all of the shiny objects, all of the gold stars, this or whatever the next thing is. Like sometimes it's more subtle. If I just go work out today, like then I'm gonna feel this thing, right? Like it's this the rival fallacy is just this idea that if I do this arbitrary thing out there, I'm gonna have a different experience internally. Right. And then that's where the arrival addiction comes in because then we're just chasing it. It's like, because sometimes you get a temporary high from it, right? Like, or you get a temporary relief, right? Like, I would have those moments where I would walk in my house and I would be like, as an adult, right? Where I'd be like, man, it's peaceful here. I always know what I'm gonna get, right? Like it's like, oh, maybe I did get that thing. I did get that thing. Like, and then you just keep chasing though. You just keep chasing. And that's the arrival addiction where you're like, if it's the next thing, like, oh, that got me a little bit of peace, but it's something still off. So maybe it's just that I need a bigger house. Maybe I need more friends. Maybe I just need more hobbies. Maybe it's the next thing, right? And then and then like if you're not awake and present to your life, then suddenly you're like, oh God, like a decade has passed, and you're like, I still feel that unsettled thing. So I think like that's the danger is
Mhm.
here's what I also say about the arrival fallacy and arrival addiction is that it's externally focused, right? It's like something outside of me is going to give me an internal experience. And
Mhm.
so the danger there is our focus then shifts away from me to out there, right? When people be like, what do you like? What do you want? I'll be like, who's paying attention? Nobody, I'm not looking in here. I'm like, what's the next quote unquote right thing? I think I put this in the book, right? I really was like, for sure, there's a rule book, capital R rule book. Everyone else has a copy. I didn't get it. I remember a moment in my like best friend in high school. We were born on the same day. We shared the same birthday. Like we were in all of the same things. And so for a long time we were very like we were in the same place. And I remember like at some point I was like, it feels like she like knows something about the world that I don't. Like I'm like, if you're watching this,
Mhm.
I'm using my hands, like it just felt like she was elevating someplace and like she had, I can't even put words to it because it doesn't make sense. But I was like, I just have this sense that she is um understanding the world differently than I am. She's having a different experience. She's knowing things that I don't. Like she got the rule book and I did not. What I might my guess is now is she might have just been a little bit more at home to herself and was living a little bit more aligned and from I was not. I was like, "Oh, Jolene's going to be a child life specialist." Me too. That's what I'm going to go to Iowa State also. Yeah. Until the last minute when I was like, my soul died when I walked on campus. I cannot go here and I'm crying. Senior year, like 5 minutes before graduation, like I have to go somewhere else. So all of that to say, I think the danger is you lose yourself. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the short way of saying it. And that's like a really dissatisfying way to live life.
Yeah.
In
And
short, in summation. Yeah.
it's amazing. Yeah, and like thank goodness your soul gave you a little wake up call, right?
Yeah.
Gave you that little
Yeah.
feeling, right? That like come back home to me, come back
Yeah.
home to who you
Yeah.
are and what your goals are,
Yeah.
right? That gave you those like tears and that moment where you're like, "Oh, this
Yeah.
doesn't feel right." And thank
Yeah.
goodness you listened.
Yeah, well, and I was like, this is annoying thing about us coaches. We say things like that when you're like it's your on the like bathroom tile moment, and you're like, thank goodness,
Woohoo!
thank goodness,
Yeah, we can
someone
say this in
knocked on our heart.
hindsight, in
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
review,
yeah.
in
No,
looking back on, but yes.
But it's a really good call out because in the moment, like sometimes when we think of like a wake up call, like I'll speak from the I, like I want something to be like getting, I'm like, I want to tell me the path. Like I want to know,
Yeah.
get my attention. But sometimes that attention doesn't come in a memo. It's not like the
Yeah.
Monday morning email. Sometimes it comes in a
That
like,
manual's not in the mail.
yeah, no, it's a gut
It's not coming.
punch. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the gut punch. It's the bad
Yeah.
news. It's the no that you wanted to be a yes. It's the marriage that looked so good on paper that you're like, ooh,
Oh, sorry.
Lord, oh gosh, like, yeah, you're like sometimes that like wake up call, it doesn't sound like a wake up call. It feels like a, I don't know, I was never in the military, but I'm picturing just like the drill sergeants coming in like banging trash cans, right? You're like, it feels like your world turning upside down, and
Yeah.
maybe it's a wake up call.
Yeah. And an
Yeah.
opportunity to build some of that self trust, right? That self
Yeah.
relationship again, because
Yeah.
lots of times we can't not hear it, right?
Yeah,
On
well,
the floor, in the
it's gonna get
bathroom,
louder,
we can
right?
hear
That, yeah,
it.
there
Yeah.
were probably whispers, right? Like that's the thing we
Yeah.
know. Like
Yeah.
we've seen the memes, right? Where it's like it's a whisper until it becomes a scream, right? And so that's where I'm now. I'm like, Uncle, if I hear it twice, I know to pay attention. Like if
Yeah.
something swirls
Right?
into my awareness, I'm like, I don't want to wait for bathroom floor moments anymore. I wanna, yeah. And now I'm like, I want to be even proactive. Like this is why I have a self-coaching practice, a journaling practice. Like I'm touching myself because I'm
Mhm.
like, it's my come home to self time, right? Because I want to have a relationship with myself. I don't want parts of me to have to like scream and bang on trash cans and like throw things to get my attention. I want to be like, yeah, you can talk to me and I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna pay attention and even if it's super scary and hard, like I'm gonna try to even take action on it. Ugh.
Yeah.
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 And I think sometimes the thing that we forget is that relationships can be are built over time, right? Through
Yes.
conversation, through listening. I
Yeah.
think often we think it's like a single thing. It's that single instance, and now I've turned the fork in the road, and now I'm doing great, and
Yeah,
now I
I
can
want
just
that.
abandon again, right? Like
Yeah,
now I can
that's
get back to people pleasing and being a perfectionist, right? And as someone who is currently and always probably, working with those parts of myself
yeah.
to build more self-trust, to build
Yeah.
more self-relationship. One of the little flaggies in here that I
Yeah.
just was like,
Tell me.
oh, hit me.
Uh-huh.
It's like the goal isn't just to succeed, it's to succeed without abandoning yourself in the process. Like that's one of those you're like,
Oh,
oh yeah, I forgot about that. Right?
yeah.
I often forget to bring myself along with me. Right.
Yeah.
So you kind of already spoken to this, but what's
Yeah.
the difference between succeeding and abandoning yourself?
Yeah.
Right? And having your own back and loving yourself the whole way to success. Because I
Um,
think often we hear that like choose option B. It's the better,
uh-huh.
but like what does that actually look like? Like
Yeah.
how do we do what's a daily practice for that, right? And
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. I mean, what a simple daily practice is like a way that we don't self-abandon is to listen, right? That's like
yeah.
what you're sort of hitting on. And listen, I am the most I want what I want. I want it right now. Like I'm literally on my 30th birthday at like what is it, Saddle Ranch, someplace in LA. There's video of me literally saying, I want what I want. I want it right now. So, and I was 30, friends. I was not 15. Okay, I'm 30.
Hmm.
So like to your point, like to not self-abandon, sometimes it's to slow down to meet yourself, right? And allow for the process. And I think like self-abandonment, self-denial, self-dismissal, I like to use that word because a lot of times it gets people's attention, but it
Yeah.
comes up, it can look so subtle, right? Like not like success without self-abandoning. It can be like in a relationship, right? Like a successful relationship where you're like, I have the marriage, I've got the, 2.5 kids, the white picket fence and the yard and the whatever, and um, I don't speak my truth. I don't ever say, here's what I want for dinner, or whatever the kids need, whatever the my partner needs. That's what I default to. Like it can be subtle things like that. Like those are those self-abandoning things where you're like, I want a happy family, or I want this, perfect life. But when I give up what I actually want in process, that's the self-abandonment, right? So you're like, so success without self-abandoning, I mean, that means one, you have to listen to yourself.
Mhm.
Two, you have to be willing to go after it. Three, you have to be willing. This is okay. This is good news, friends, what I'm about to say here. Like you have to be willing for other people to misunderstand you, to judge you, to not see. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was like,
And
it's
I'm out. Can't
uncomfortable.
say I'm out. I'm out. Yeah.
No, thank you.
And that right there, like again, like
Yeah.
when we these subtle things are like when we self-abandon, that's
Yeah.
what it looks like, right? When we're like, oh, I would rather like I prioritize someone else's perception of me over my truth. Right? Like
Yeah.
those are those self-abandoning moments. I want people to see me as somebody who fill in the blank, right? Versus I want to see myself, know my truth, and let people see that, right?
Yeah.
And this can be so little. Okay, y'all, I'm like looking at myself in the camera. Like, I am somebody who turns red like it's like it feels so like I feels like self-denial. I'm like, why do you have to betray? It's a betrayal. I'm like, why are you betraying? You're telling the world I'm having
The
an
world.
emotion right now, right? And like if self-abandon, it can be like, oh my God, I'm gonna try really hard not to say anything that embarrasses me, or I'm gonna try to
Mhm.
like couch it and like, oh gosh, it's getting really hot in here, right? Like if other people are witnessing
Right.
me, like, these just
Mhm.
again, these like little moments that we self-abandon versus I just own it. I'm like, oh gosh, I just said something that embarrassed myself right now, apparently. Like I am just having this red face moment come up. And again, these
Mhm.
things that seems almost like a silly example. You're not like you're not clocking that as like I am self-abandoning. But those
Mhm.
times where you're like, I want to couch my experience in such a way that it's palatable to somebody else
Mhm.
so that someone will have a thought about me so that then I can think I'm okay. Again, this is the gift of life coaching. It's like
Confidence.
you just get to circumvent that, right? Like
Yeah.
I can just skip to what's the thought I want to have about myself, even if other
Mhm.
people think differently. Like those are the ways we don't self-abandon. Those are the ways we have our back that I'm willing to hear my truth, honor
Mhm.
it, live from that, and then I'm willing to have my back, even if other people don't respond the way that I hope, or even if I don't get the outcome that I was
Mhm.
hoping for. Like,
Yeah.
so I'll go down a rabbit hole on that, but yeah, like
Yeah,
self-abandonment
I
gets
mean,
just.
I might encourage the rabbit hole here by
Yeah.
saying this next bit, but
Uh-huh.
I think like for me, when I come to that point where I gotta either decide to self-abandon
Hmm.
or say my truth,
Hmm.
it feels so visceral. Like so
Yeah.
like the nervous system is flaring, right?
Yep.
And it's so in that moment you're like, "Oh, I gotta say I don't want to host Christmas." Or I
Uh-huh.
gotta say
Yep. Uh-huh.
we're not coming for Thanksgiving or whatever it is, or I
Yeah.
don't want to join the PTA.
Yeah, like yeah,
In
or I'm
those
turning down
moments,
this. You invited me to do this thing, and I'm saying no. Or you asked me to keynote something or speak at something. Like I just had to do this last week where someone asked for a speaking engagement, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I my truth is no, right? It
Mhm.
was a non-paying speaking engagement. And I, again, the social worker in me, I love to give free content. I get like this
Yeah.
podcast is
Yeah.
free. Like the book is
Yeah.
$20, right? Like and I want to speak and I do that and I budget for the amount that I want to do pro bono work, I guess. And this particular organization I had already done a free
Yeah.
thing for, and they wanted like a time frame that was a lot more than that, and it just was inconsistent with some other goals, and I was like, I don't want to block off for that. Like I had reasons that I liked, but
Yeah.
the idea of reaching out to this woman that I didn't even really know, like, we kind of know of each other, we don't know, and I was like, oh gosh, she's gonna think all I care about is money. She's gonna think I'm selfish. She's gonna think, what a lot of, like this is what our brains do. Like they're
Yeah.
gonna think,
Yeah.
we don't even have to fill in the blank, right? It's just the big, terrible, scary things, right?
All of them.
And so yeah, like even telling you this, like I can feel my heart rate be,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
increasing. And so
Mhm.
in those moments, like yeah, your nervous system is dysregulated because we're pack creatures, and it's like, oh, disconnection equals death, right? So your
Yeah.
autonomic nervous system is like sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, let's keep you safe. So in those moments, it's okay. If you can get there, if you do the practice,
Mhm.
noticing, oh, I am noticing that like I am dysregulated right now. I am
Mhm.
having a visceral response. That's not a problem. It's human. My actual human flesh suit is meant to do this, right?
Yeah.
And can I take an inhale and exhale twice as long? Can I breathe? can I also, it's a dance between taking care of like the physical sensations and like doing some breath work, doing some bilateral stimulation, maybe some tapping,
Yeah.
and also communicating to your system, this isn't actually an emergency,
Yeah. No
right?
saber-tooth tigers.
Which right, no one's chasing us. We're not actually, but like it feels like it because that feeling is the same. And our bodies are like very unsophisticated and they're like, feels familiar, death. Yep, run, right?
Yep.
And so it's a partnering with yourself. And think about it, like we're talking about relationships and cultivating relationships. When you start to know, like you're like, this is how I'm going to take care of myself in these moments, self-trust starts to build, right? Because you're like, oh, autonomic nervous system's like, I can totally lose my shit and you're gonna be okay. Like you're gonna take care of me. Like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, I can pause, I can like take a deep breath, I can do something grounding, I can listen
Mhm.
to a sound, I can, feel the things beneath me. I can just kind of regulate my nervous system a little bit, check in to see what is the real threat here. The real threat in that moment for me was a hard thought and a hard feeling.
Yeah.
Like not like the real threat was like, oh gosh, she's gonna think something, and I'm gonna make that mean something, right? So
Yeah.
like, okay, we're not actually in danger because I can decide what I make it mean. And what I'm deciding right
Mhm.
now is like this, I want to be a business owner who has boundaries around, I want to be a business owner who has a profitable business, one,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And so I want to be someone who has boundaries and I want to be someone who honors like when I do the stuff that I do for free, I want to be a full body yes to
All
that.
in. Yeah.
I want to be all in. And
Yeah.
and when I don't, I want to be all in on that. And I want to be someone who has my back in that. And just think about the self relationship and self
Mhm.
leadership and self navigation skills you start
Mhm.
develop, then develop self trust. You're like, oh, I can do hard things. Again, it's like not all consciously happening, but what's running in the background that you're communicating to yourself is I can navigate uncharted territories, wonky things. And even if it feels terrifying, I know how to take care of myself
Yeah.
when I approach it that way. Yeah, all that.
Yeah. I'm just imagining someone who's read the book, who
Uh-huh.
gets it in theory, and comes to one of those decision points and is like,
Yeah.
this is really scary.
Yeah.
If I have to go live through, feel all of the heart beating, all
Mhm.
of the emotions, and letting my brain run wild, all the things that they're going to be thinking about me, like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, this is hard. Like,
Yeah.
this is
This
not
is hard.
comfortable. And
Yep.
it sounds like it's going to take more than one or two repetitions. And
It
like, I
turns
don't
out.
know. I'm sure will, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
And
like,
listen, yeah, go ahead.
is it going to be worth it? Like, that's the thing is
Yeah.
like, if you were going to talk to somebody who's not done any of this work before,
Yep.
but like gets the, in theory, this sounds good, but like, I've done pretty well without a self relationship for 42 years. So like,
And
why?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Why?
Well, okay. So a couple of things I will say is like really getting honest with yourself and asking the question. And I like to phrase it this way, something like if if like the life you want is like Disney World, right? And like
Mhm.
the price of admission, like the ticket you have to pay is the vibration of discomfort in your body, like an uncomfortable sensation in your body. Like, is that a price you're willing to pay? Right? And somebody might be like, I'll stay in the cave. Actually, a racing heart. And this is why there's a whole chapter on staying with your emotions because
Yeah.
people, again, if you've never done, like you're just hearing this all for the first time, you're like, feelings are debt. We avoid all the feelings. I don't want to have an uncomfortable feeling. I want no people in my life to have an uncomfortable feeling. You might just not know that an uncomfortable feeling is a time limited vibration in your body,
Mm.
right? Like it sounds real terrible, but like when you
I
sit with it, you're
love
like,
that.
oh, like even when I was talking to you, I was like, oh, I notice my heart is racing.
Right.
Okay, right. And like there are physical sensations. And if we learn to just sit with them, like that's why I have a whole framework, SPACE, it's a little space framework in there, so that if you give
Mhm.
space to them and you can be with them,
Yeah.
it starts to take away their power, right? Like then they're not so scary.
Yeah.
Right? Because like right now you're like, oh God, like I could feel numb and not feel any discomfort and just keep doing this thing that I'm doing. That's very familiar, which also, friend, if you're listening to this, your brain is designed to reinforce that. Our brains are wired
Yeah.
for familiarity, right? So already you're like, you want me to do something different? I know how to do the people pleasing. I know how to do self erasure. I know how to exist for the,
Got
pleasure
that
of everyone around me.
down.
That's very
Mhm.
familiar. And your brain's going to be like, yes, more of that. Yes, more of that, right? And the cost is your life, right? I mean, just the cost is like what you came here to
Simply,
do.
yeah.
Just again,
Yeah.
these like subtle things. So the other thing I would say, so one is, right, like you got to really make an intentional decision. If it was wildly uncomfortable, is it, um, am I willing to do it? Right? Like, am I willing to feel a heart racing and right?
Mhm.
The other thing is, I just a client this morning. It's at the end of November, mid-November when we're recording this, and so people are kind of doing reflection and a look back and like wins. And one of the wins she called out was, "I'm so much better at sitting with discomfort." Like
Yeah.
that was the win. And what that helped her do is she was like, I'm so much better at that. And so I was willing to do like a Friendsgiving for my kid, like go to a Friendsgiving, talk to strangers. Like this is the thing. Like when you're willing to, like it's just like non-issue. She's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna feel uncomfortable and I'll get over it. Right?
Yeah.
Like you just like deactivate like the terror of it. And you're like, what if I could just feel uncomfortable things temporarily and then I can have whatever the F I want on the other side? It's freedom. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like
Yeah.
it's freedom versus I would say the prison, right? Like to your point, if like the person that's like, why you're talking about a heart racing heart and like my, throat trying to like have a boulder in it. I don't want that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the prison, right? Is
Mhm.
that you're like, I am like, I will forego what I want and I will stay in the jail cell to
Yeah, I
avoid that.
think it just
Yeah.
without doing any of this work, without reading the book, without
Yeah.
understanding how those emotions, like it really is, like you said, what do you say, a time limited
Yeah.
vibration in your body,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
We make it so much bigger.
Yep.
We really break it down. You're like, actually, it is a
Yep.
beating heart. Actually, it
Yes.
is some red cheeks.
Yeah.
Actually, it is 90 seconds or whatever of a vibration in the body.
Yeah. Because yeah, people who don't have these skills are not doing the work. We have an uncomfortable emotion and then we try to get really busy to get out of it. Like, what do I need to problem solve? What do I need to fix? What can I do to get out of it? But
Mhm.
people like, listen, if you spend some time with coaching, now if I'm emotionally intense, my first thing is I am just going to feel that feeling because I know that anything I'm trying to do to get rid of that is I'm not going to make
Mhm.
good choices. It's not going to be the thing. So I'm so much more resourced when I'm like, okay, let me feel the feeling, clear that out. Now my brain is back online. My prefrontal cortex is back online. That's a way better place to problem solve, make decisions, or do like whatever creative thing I'm trying to do in my business versus
Mhm.
pressure and dread, right? Like when I'm there, like, and again, I missed the mark and I'm like, oh, damn, I just did 4 hours of work from pressure and dread and it all sucks, turns out. Right. But like, if you can remember, like, again, we're human, but remember, like, oh, yeah, like the hack is feel the feeling, let it pass, and then have access to more of yourself, live from there, create from there, decide from there, grow your business from there, do parent
Mhm.
from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think what is often misunderstood is that that flash of emotion isn't forever, right? It's like you touch the stove and you're like, oh man, that's hot. I got burnt. I'm
Yep.
never going to do that again.
Yep.
You're like, so what you're doing is you're asking me to put my hand on the stove while while I write my book, while I
Yeah.
run a
Yeah.
marathon. That sounds terrible. You're like,
Yeah,
no, no,
here's what
no.
I would say to that. Yeah.
What I ask you to do is like, notice that it's hot.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, we're going to turn off the stove
Yeah.
and we're going to proceed when it's cooled off a little
Yeah.
bit
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
versus
The
terrible
thing,
the whole time.
yeah. And the thing that's like when you say that, like this is for sure. Like when people are like, I don't want to feel my feelings, people tend to think of it like, I am gonna walk up and put my hand on the stove. No, what we're talking about is your hand is already on the stove. Right? Like,
Mhm.
I'm not saying like go just walk into wildly uncomfortable feelings. I'm like, no, your body is already experiencing it. You're just doing it the hardest way.
Yeah.
Like those vibrations are in there running amok, and we're just like elbowing, just like trying to stuff it down.
Yeah.
It's coming out in some wonky stuff. You're like in a meeting and
Coming out
yelling out and losing
sideways.
your mind when you're like, oh, yeah, that was my kid that I was mad about yesterday. Or like when I was 10, my dad said this thing, right? Like
Yeah.
it's all in there. So it's again, when we invite you into like feeling the feelings, it's not like sign up for it. I mean, listen, sometimes we do things like sign up for marathons just so we can practice the skill of sitting with discomfort. That's practice, right? But like most of what we're talking about is like it's game day. It's happening already. I'm not asking you to like go conjure up some hard feelings. Like life is giving it to you.
Right.
These are just tools where you're like, oh, maybe I could take my hand off of the hot stove actually and not have to fester in it. Right. Because people are like, I've been feeling this feeling for weeks now, unless you have like a diagnosable mental health condition coming on. Like, if you are still in a hard feeling about something that happened with your, neighbor,
Mhm.
you didn't feel the feeling. You've thought about it. You've ruminated. You've numbed it. You've avoided it. You've resisted it. You've reacted to it.
Shoved it down,
You we
pressure in the
shove it.
pressure cooker, you
Yeah,
know.
and then it explodes, but like you didn't feel it. A feeling like I had a guy like I was like, I'm just gonna set the timer for 10 seconds. This is what I will often do. Like when somebody is
Yeah.
inside of an intense emotion, I would
Mhm.
be like, we're just gonna spend a moment with it, right? Like you don't even have to feel it all the way through. I'm gonna set the timer for 10 seconds. I'll keep track of it. You just sit there and be present to the vibration, right? And 10 seconds. I was like, okay, now tell me what you feel. And he was like, oh, it's gone. I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
right? And he had spent like 3 weeks, rumbling with it and it's like, yeah. And now I say that with, like a caveat and asterisk. I'm not saying it like all your feelings should be gone in 10 seconds, right? But that's the power is that if you
Yeah.
just feel the feeling, yeah, we're gonna
It's
like we have a
like
whole seminar on feelings, friends. Yeah. Listen, I'm a
yeah,
reluctant participant. I don't want to do it either. I
yeah.
don't want
Me
to.
neither.
I just
No.
know, right? Like it's cool. Yeah, let's feel terrible. No, you're like,
Mhm.
I just am equipped to. And I know this is the other thing, like I'm preaching now, but like if
Mhm.
you do it with enough repetition, then you just know, like, oh man, yeah, I am swallowed up inside of anxiety. And I know on the other side of anxiety, I'm going to
Mhm.
experience this all very differently. So my work is
Mhm.
just to like get through the anxiety as fast as possible, not try to set up my
Mhm.
life in such a way that I don't have to feel the anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. It's like removing the fear of the emotion itself.
yes. Yeah, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Mhm.
So if there was one thing, one shift
Mm.
that you hope that people take away from your book, what
Oh,
would it be? Or what do
mm,
you hope they feel after they finish the last chapter?
yeah. Um, I know as the first word that came up is like maybe trite as it sounds. Like I'm judging it a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I don't know that inspired is the right, maybe like um resourced
Mm-hmm.
and hopeful. Like so yeah. So I'm like one thing, the one
What do
thing
you
like
mean by
here's what
resourced?
yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
like oh sorry, what did you say? I didn't hear.
What do you mean by resourced?
Resource. Yeah, like equipped, like you have what you need. Like it's like the inspired is like because
Mm-hmm.
I end the book with like, listen, this is not the end. Like this is the beginning. This is now your chapter one. Go. So like inspired, motivate, like lit up and resourced, meaning, yeah, like a lot of times like we have these big dreams and we're like, I have no idea how to get there, get started. So my hope with the book is like, no, you do that now. Like you have a resource, like you have this manual, right, that
Mm-hmm.
will help you get started, right? So my hope is that like, yeah, you feel lit up to want to go do the things like you have come home to yourself to know the thing you want to do. Now you are on fire to go do the things and you actually feel equipped like I have the tools now. Like I walk you through the whole path is my
Mm-hmm.
freedom formula that is like, here's how you can identify a goal you have and like the steer model that I use is you can put anything you want in the R line of the model, like whatever result you want, and you just reverse engineer. What do I need to believe? What do I need to feel? What do I need to be willing to feel? Back to the question,
Right.
that came
Yeah.
earlier. And what actions do I need to consistently take? And what things do I need to consistently stop doing? Hitting snooze every day, right? Or whatever, like whatever to make it happen. So my hope is you yeah, like so maybe that's like really three things. It's not one shift, but
That's
all of it
okay.
is just, I mean, encapsulated is that you would feel equipped to be able to go after the thing that you want to do, to go after your pursuit, and to like actually enjoy it. How's that for all of that? Yeah. That's a lot. I have big
I
hopes
love it.
for all of y'all. So know what you want to do, have the skills to go after it, and also like actually enjoy the
Yeah.
process. So maybe that's the okay. I want to amend my whole. I've like talked my way into it.
Go for it.
I've talked my way into the whole like point of the book, which is the idea of being in pursuit, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
a a lot of times we think it's like the whatever that goal, going back to like the arrival fallacy. Like here's the goal, like I want to, have a bigger bank account. I want to increase my I have a revenue goal in my business right now, or like somebody who has a fitness goal or they want a relationship. Like we think it's about getting the thing. But like
Mhm.
I think of gold, they're like spiritual practices. Like it is about an
Mhm.
evolution. It's about
Mhm.
the part that gets me super excited. And we were just talking about
Yeah.
this maybe just
Yeah.
last night a little bit. It was
Yeah.
like to explore the version of me that I haven't explored. Like if I am doing something I have never done before, it means I have to access skills, talents, ideas, like they're like hiding in my armpits, like it's in a nook and cranny somewhere that hasn't been used or underused. Like that's the point of a pursuit. And so maybe that's my really like takeaway is like imagine if it wasn't just about a sprint to the finish line, but it really
Yeah.
was like what can I explore in myself? What can I express in myself? In this, like, how can I, again, I always come back to, I love relationships, like self relationship that, like, what am I going to learn about myself that I didn't know before doing this? Like, who knew? Like, who knew I could run 26.2 miles without stopping?
And write a
Did
book.
who knew I could write a book? That might have been like under my leg armpit or my leg pit. Like right. Like I didn't where was that gear? I didn't know I had that gear in me, right? Like that's the thrill of being in pursuit of something to me, right? Like I'm getting
Ah,
jazzed up just like talking about
right
that's
now.
the thrill of a life, right? And I
Mhm.
think in the conversation I had with you when I was like, I'm gonna write a book about in pursuit, I was getting existential, right? I was like, the creator, like whatever created us, is like
Mhm.
always in pursuit of us, right? It's like like
Mhm.
exploring. And I was like, so if we are in pursuit of our creations, like in some ways, like that's the closest we can get to like experiencing our own divinity. Right. I mean, so
Yeah.
listen, bring the
Ooh,
pulpit back. I'm about to
wow.
preach. It's, yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to amend my next question because
Okay.
my next question was going to be like, what's your next pursuit? Like, what
Oh,
can we expect from you next?
mhm.
But as I'm like thinking about that question, like really it is like maybe the question is, what part of you are you exploring more now? And maybe it's a
Oh,
pursuit, maybe it's like, what are you leaning into exploring
yeah.
about yourself?
Yeah.
Or like, what is the pursuit? And like, we know that those are,
Yeah.
folded into one another as well.
Yeah.
So I'll just lob that your
I
way. See
love,
what.
okay, that's a great question. Like, see, this is why we have coaches in our life that ask great questions. Yeah, what was the part you said? Like, what's a part
What's
of you
your
that you're in
next
pursuit?
pursuit?
Yeah,
What can we like expect from you next? But then
yeah,
also like knowing that the pursuit or the goal, the thing is not actually what it's all about.
yeah, yeah,
What is it that you are exploring about yourself on the way to whatever the
yeah.
next thing is?
Oh, that's such a good question. I feel like I'm getting my own coaching right now. Yeah,
Mhm.
because what's coming up is, um, like being exploring the part of me that hates the messy middle. Like this is right. What
Mhm.
I'm like, I will take some action. I am not afraid of
I
action.
am
Like if I
aware.
can
Yeah.
see here's the start, middle, in it, I will do all the things. I will do the things.
Mhm.
But when it's not clear,
Yeah.
and I'm just like upside down in the messy middle, it's like the goo of the chrysalis. Yeah,
Hmm.
see, even right now, like we are averse. Okay, we are averse to that. So I have been sitting with that. Like, we were talking about this yesterday. I was like that question that another coach in the world asked, like, what are you struggling with right now? And like, what do you gain from that struggle, or like choosing that struggle or something? And like that's what I think of as my pursuit is like, what am I gaining from like the resistance to the messy middle and what what would it like there are probably people out in the world who don't resist like there are creatives out there y'all love a good creation exploration. I'm
I
like let's
see
just get
craft
it.
supplies everywhere. You better
Oh
believe
yeah.
that's me. Craft
No,
supplies all over the room.
I
Yeah.
love craft supplies and I like them to be organized right here.
Alphabetize.
This is, listen, but we're all works in progress. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So
Here we are.
that's what I think like something is being called and like perhaps related to this is I love clarity. I love certainty. I'm like, I want someone who's,
We
again, the
all
rule book.
do.
I want, like, here's the thing, point it out. And here, like, this, I was just self-coaching. I was like journaling, self-coaching on this just yesterday. So this is part of my pursuit. This is where we're at, live action, y'all. Is I've always wanted that. I'm like, if I could have like just an earbud, auditory hallucinations from God, the divine, whoever, just tell me what left, right, front, back, keep just step by step, tell me what to do. Here's the interesting thing about this soul. Yeah, I know. All right, I see your face. You're like, get it. Listen, this is some part of me wants this. Also, some part of me was like, you know what? We're gonna plop us down into this life where like you basically you're not gonna have any like real parental guidance. Figured out, blindfolded, not gonna have that. Also, your first real job, like out of grad school, like 6 minutes into the job, the director leaves, and I just have to figure out I end up taking over the program, right? I never really had a supervisor. And then later I'm like, you know what? You're gonna be an entrepreneur. You're gonna have a business. You know what you don't have as in a business? A boss. You don't have anybody telling you what to do, which is, I know some people are like, amen. Also, though, someone who's like, give me the roadmap, like, oh, turns out you're the cartographer, friend. Like, you. So, all of that to say, like, while I would love a beautifully mapped out roadmap, I think what's also up for me is that my soul was like, you know what? Don't give me a map. Also, hand me a blindfold. You know what I mean? Also, tie one arm behind my back. Let's just see. Let's just see if
Yeah,
we
let's
can
see.
figure it out. Yeah. So that's the part of me I'm in pursuit of right now is like some part of me I feel like is like we're doing backflips, somersault, cartwheels into the unknown and we love it and like blindfold me just for an extra challenge. And I want to
Mhm.
get to know her more because
Yeah.
she don't get the
Yeah,
microphone.
because she's calling some shots, right?
She
Sounds like
is.
she's choosing the messy,
I'm trying to
kind of
befriend
like
her.
sneakily on the side. She's like, I'm putting that unicorn sparkly tiara on and I'm taking the reins and
We, sh
entrepreneurship's for you, ma'am.
yeah.
Right?
So,
And I think like there's
yeah,
beauty in that because when there's so much certainty, when the path is clear,
yeah.
there's no room for that mystery, for that magic.
Well, and the
And
quote
I
I
think,
love so much by Joseph Campbell is like, if the path, I think it's Joseph Campbell. There's probably, who knows who actually said this because I think I've heard other people attribute it to. Anyway, but if the path before you is clear, you're probably on somebody else's.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. So, see, but part of me is like, well, yeah, great. That's the rule book. That if somebody else has already done it, clearly it's safe and good and it ends well.
Mm.
We're
Yeah,
not
but this
pursuing that one.
circling back to our
Yeah,
the very first part, right? It's like, but that sounds a little bit like a shade of self-abandonment, though.
a
Somebody
thousand
else's
percent. Yeah,
path
yes.
versus the one that my soul came here to live, right? Ah, yeah,
I know.
I
So
know.
it's only been 44 years of me really like sequestering that one that's like, let's just like, can we do this with our eyes closed? And, so that's the pursuit I am in right now. It's like I want to get to know her more. And so that means doing things I've never done before. I'm being in pursuit of things I've never done before because there's not a roadmap for that. And so I get to hang out with her. And some days it looks rowdy. I mean, last night, like in our little mastermind, I mean, somebody
Yeah.
was like, Jessica, what did you take before this call? You are an actual mess. I'm paraphrasing,
Yes.
but like I
Mhm.
just want to share that because like we can do wildly amazing, incredible things and have so much value to offer, and we are still humans who are like our friends are going to be like, "What did you take? You have lost your dang mind." Yeah. Hashtag human. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And I'm
beautiful.
still in
And I
pursuit.
love that
Yeah.
we can be honest about that and share that with people and
Yeah.
normalize it. Like, we
Yeah.
got human brains too. It's
Uh-huh.
also going to get rowdy over here.
All the
That's why
time.
we got to like do it together.
Yep. Yeah.
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 Okay, my friend, tell me, how can people work with you? How can they dive deeper if they love the book and they
It's so
want to
fun
be
to be on
able?
this side of it. Like, oh,
Oh,
thank you
what
for
a great.
asking. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Tell
Yeah.
us. Tell us, what can we
Well,
do?
all the way, I mean, like you can, again, I love to have all the different offerings. You can grab the book, you can do the work in there. I put QR codes to worksheets in there. Again, I wanted this to be take action, do the thing. And if you find value, listen, I am a big believer that the photo can't see the frame. Like I have
Mhm.
coaching all the time because I'm a whole human all the time. And so if the podcast and the book and the content I put out on social media or my news my email, I say newsletter. It's whatever emails I want to drop to y'all. I wouldn't call them
Yeah.
newsletters, but the value I just want to throw out. Like if that doesn't feel enough and you really are like, I want somebody to hold, clearly, I'm like, I want someone to hold my hand and walk with me along this because they're rowdy over here. And you want that in a coach. Like right now I offer, one-on-one coaching packages. And so you can find me on social media, DM me, I'll give you info. Go to my website, jessicasmarro.com. And speaking of being in pursuit of things you never done before, stay tuned, friends, because I'm in the messy middle of creating just some things to support the content that is in the book to help people really take it to the next level and the next level. So right now, one-on-one is the way that you can work with me. In the future, someday, sometime, there might be other ways you can work with me. So if you want to stay tuned on that, like make sure you're following me on social media or get on my email list so that you don't miss whatever's next. Whatever the pursuit brings us to, stay tuned. Yeah. Yeah.
And my last question is, what does it mean to live an unblocked life, Jessica?
Oh, this is so fun. Like the question I ask every single
I
guest.
know. It's
Uh,
like I've listened to your podcast.
it's like you've been here before. Obviously, I love that question.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so for me, again, I'm trying to like think of a way to say it that it's just going to sound a little existential. Uh, but truly, like when I think about unblock, I think about removing the blocks to access and the awareness of like what's actually already inside of me. So when I think
Yeah.
of living an unblocked life, it's like a remembering. Like I
Mm.
want to remember the truth of who I am and I survival strategies, deficiency stories, like things are like layers of mud and clay. And so living unblocked is that I'm removing that. I can see those. I don't identify with those. They're not who I am so that I can keep remembering the truth of who I am and then live from that place. Like I don't like a
Mm.
blocked life to me is like we are living from our blocks are from our survival strategies. We're living from those layers of mud. An unblocked life is I I do the work to remove that so I can access the truth of who I am. And that's the version of me I decide from, I live from, I express myself from. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like being in pursuit of yourself, in pursuit of that, like coming home to the truth of who
Whole
you are.
freaking thing. That's the whole thing. Coming home has been the thing I've just, really wanted to do for a long time. Just really want to come home to myself. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Jessica. This was a delight.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that we
So
got a
fun.
chance to do this. Friends, if you resonated with anything that we talked about today in this conversation, right? Don't ignore that. Go
Mhm.
grab your book, read it, listen to it. There's lots of ways you can grab it. You really deserve to have this kind of clarity with a warm hug, right? That's what Jessica does best, I think, in this book. So
Oh,
go get it.
thank you. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm gonna have Ange come back and like host all the time. This was
I
so
am
fun.
always
Maybe
game.
I want to co-host. Listen, now we're
Ooh,
just gonna be in pursuit of we don't know what. Like, don't hold me to that, friends. I'm
so
just talking out loud here. We're just brainstorming. But if you hung out all the way to the end of this, thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, my friends, stay open, stay free.